Yes, and I'll wrap up the show with the Richardson situation. Here's my thought on it. You can't use the bad of a rule as an excuse to break the rule. She knew exactly what the situation, and the credit to her that she's owned up to it and acknowledged that she did uh, smoke the marijuana during the trials. And I know that she said she was grieving and going through some personal losses, and that's unfortunate. But the rule is the rule. Is it a bad rule? I think it is a bad rule. We've spoken about it before, but if you're a new listener or just following us, do I think cannabis should be used in sports? I think it should be. I think it could be used as a an aid as far as for healing or to for recovery. I think there's when you have different states legalizing the use of cannabis and things along those lines, I think you have to look at it from the sports world as well. Will it be abused? Sure. Alcohol is abused. Drugs are abused, whether it is the recreational usage of it or pain pills that professional and collegiate teams prescribe to their athletes, and those have very bad effects as well. A lot of times worse than the marijuana, but that's an argument for another day. The and this isn't a and that's another. People are kind of misconstruing it, and I think what you have is a lot of people. And I watch the MSNBC and a lot of these other people, non-sports fans or non-sports followers, making comments on sports issues and trying to get their political or socio perspectives out there, using this as a test case study for it. The way that it isn't, first of all, it's not U.S. track and field. This is WADA. It goes beyond the United States track. You don't think that the United States USA track, and she has been the fastest woman in the world. You don't think they want her to be out? They want her to be out there at the Olympics, winning gold for the United States. I don't want to hear about the racism of it, and they hate her because she's black or whether it's orientations or her lifestyle. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. Is it an underlying factor in everything in life? Of course it is, but this is not the case. If she was a white male who threw the hammer, or was a running long distance, same drug test fail, same situation. She is the most recognized, well, becoming one of the most recognized athletes in the world of track and field. So obviously the profile is higher, but trust me, these drug tests, they do not care. If you look it up right now, there are several athletes of all races and genders and orientations that are fighting the same issues. Drug tests don't lie; they don't care who you are. But this isn't a U.S. rule; this is an international rule, and it's known that if you are in that window of competition, you're going to be tested for different drugs, including cannabis. And if you fail that test, like she did, you'll be suspended for a month, like she is. Now, the problem is that the Olympics are less than a month from now, or give or take a few days. So if this happened during the World Championship year or during a non-Olympic year, this may not, it'll be news because she's a known athlete, but but the Olympics obviously brings a lot more attention to it. But I see all of these people now, like she should be reinstated. And why is this rule out there? And it's racist, it's sexist, it's all these other things. No, it is the rule as it is stated. If do you want to change the rule? And I think it should be changed, but you have to operate under the current regulations that you live in or you participate in. And you look at if you at whatever your endeavor is, whether it's work, if you're look, I put it this way: if you're working at a job and they drug test or they have certain things like that, you can't go to your employer and say, I don't like this rule. This is terrible. I'm going to take the drug anyway. You cannot fire me or you can't deny me the right to work for you. Yes, they can, because those are the rules that are stated by that company. And I think it's getting to the point where you're seeing a lot of people trying to do all of these things. I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't want to sound like an old man because I'm 40, so on both sides of it. I'm not a senior citizen, but I grew up around senior people that are senior citizens now. I was born in the '80s, so I kind of get that old school approach, but also I'm around young people quite a bit too. So I'm kind of in that in between age. And so I just think that if you have this rule in place, you have to follow it. And people have to realize that you can't just violate the rule and all because it may be to you, maybe not right or unethical. And after the fact, complain about you violating that rule. That's just the way things are. And I will say this also, we have to get get a better understanding of what cannabis does to your system. It gets to the point where there's some this could be another 40-minute conversation, but I will say this. The the stereotypical way, and I think you have the Cheech and Chongs and all that stuff, that way of stone. You have these stoners, they smoke the weed, they sit on their couch, they like to eat fast food and are unproductive. That stereotype is way overdue to be dispelled. First of all, there are so many ways you can take in cannabis. There's smoking it, there's oils, there are edibles, you can eat it. There are many ways that you can inject the cannabis. There are different types of cannabis too. There's indica and sativa. There's so many different. There's the forms that will make you maybe a little bit more passive. There's marijuana that will make you not aggressive, but give you more energy, make you more alert. There's so many ways that it can be taken. So you have to also look at it from, some are saying that it cannot it's not a performance enhancing drug. It can be. It can alleviate stress. It can help with your physical injuries for recovery. There are many forms of it. And the fact that you think, oh, someone's gonna smoke a joint, pass out, and not be able to run a race or play in a sporting event, that's a very old school thinking about it. And you probably were you're not very informed of the use of the cannabis. So that's where I think you need a better understanding of it. Could it have been a PED, performance enhancer, for Richardson? It definitely could have been. Now, did it still make her run the time that she ran and perform at the level that she did? I don't think it was the only reason that she did that. But you cannot be ignorant to the fact that it may have been an enhancer for her as well. So I think what this does is bring a light to what can, and then we will definitely end on this, and then we'll conclude the show. If there's not a good comprehension of cannabis at the government level, where I'm in the state of Georgia and it is illegal for me to use it or to have possession of it, but I can get on a flight, go to Colorado, and literally, or state of Washington, and literally walk into a store in Denver or Seattle, in one of those cities, not even have a medical license for it or a prescription, and I can buy the marijuana and use it and consume it, there's a problem right there. When I said, if I'm in Georgia, I can't do it, but if I'm in Colorado, I can. If I'm in the state of, I'm from the state of New York, I can do it in New York, but then I need, or Illinois, but I need a license or medical prescription to purchase it. It's very convoluted at the government level. So if there's confusion there, there's going to be even more confusion when you make it more micro in the world of sports. So in the end, Richardson, unfortunate for her, I think she's going to be able to run, because I think the suspension, the timeline, it kind of works out. And I don't know if she could be in 100, but I think she qualifies for the relay. So I don't know if she could be an individual Olympian. There's a lot going on with it as we record the show, and I'm sure it'll change over the next few weeks as we get towards the Olympics. But yeah, unfortunate situation for her. But if you're going to participate or partake in an endeavor with those rules and regulations, you have to respect them and follow them.